Hello, and welcome to Seeing Rare Strokes. I'm Angel Mercado. So today, what we're going to do, we're going to use some tissue and paper stumps. As usual, always pay attention how much pressure you are applying to the paper, how much charcoal you are removing at the same time. Remember, the lightest touch is better than the heavy touch. We can do layers. When you do layers, it works a lot better. It creates more of a unified sketch. What we need to remember about this is to use the tissue or the stumps when we want something soft, when we don't want to have a lot of texture. I hope you're going to enjoy the exercise, and give me a like, subscribe would be great. That way you will help my channel that is just beginning. I'm just starting to grow, and enjoy it. And remember, practice, practice, practice. Just practice, experiment. Don't worry about having the beautiful sketch at first. It will come. It will come. It will come sooner than you think if you do these exercises, like I say. So I hope you enjoy it, and I'll see you. Okay, these are the new tools I'm introducing in this video. We have the paper stump, and I just compressed paper, tightly wrapped around, and of course it's been, shaved in the corners so it will have some points, and tissue. And with these two materials, we're going to be able to add into our fine charcoal and kneaded eraser. So the first thing I'm going to do here, I'm going to do a little demo, show you what, let's see, yes. I think I'm just going to do just add some tone to the paper. This is just fine charcoal, very soft material, so it should lift very easy when we use these materials. So I'm going to make two sort of like rectangular shapes, just to show you the difference between these two materials I want to use to smooth the charcoal in the paper. Okay, so the first one I'm going to use is going to be the stump, and the stump you can use it kind of like sort of like writing, okay, or more like on the side when we want to cover a big portion of it. We just use it on the side, just like this. I can turn it a little bit, that way I can get just little bits at a time, so I can get a cleaner section of the stump, and that's pretty much it. You see, very fast we can achieve a nice mid-tone. Okay, so this is stump. Now we're going to go with the tissue, and the tissue I'm just going to, I like to fold it like this, and then I just wrap it around my finger like that, so make sure it's kind of like flat, no creases in here. And this one I'm going to apply very light, because you'll see how much charcoal it can lift. Very easy. You see that? Very little effort, and we have a lot of charcoal left. And now you can tell the difference right away, what the stump does compared to the tissue. The tissue lifts a lot more than the stump. The tissue is a lot smoother, where the stump you still has some texture. Okay, so I'm going to go and clean the stump that I was using a little bit, just to have a clean area. You can use a little piece of fine sandpaper and sand it off if you want it very clean. But for the sake of demo here, I'm just going to use it as it is. So now we're going to try to remove more charcoal. And you can see it does gradually, which makes it pretty nice, like that. So you can see a little difference by going over a second time, how much lighter we can get, and at the same time I'm just trimming a little bit, so that way we get a clean piece of paper all the time. Okay, let's see what we can do with the tip. Here I'm going to go. You can see it's kind of hard to remove it like this because I already have a lot of charcoal there. Okay, so unless you really clean it good, which it becomes to be a chore more than anything, it's hard to remove it, you see. Okay, now let's do the same thing with the tissue. See if we can remove much more than what we have there. I'm going to do the same. I am removing a little bit more, but as you can see, we just need more charcoal. One thing I want to see here is when we add a little more charcoal to it. Let's say I'm going to make it a little bit darker in here. Okay, I'm just going to, since I live here in the Bay Area and near the water in Florida, we're going to do a little sea scene. Okay, there. So now I'm going to go back to, oops, sorry, we are using the stump on this side. I'm going to go back to the stump, clean it good, and we are going to see if we can create lines with it. You see, this is, okay, there are two things you should be aware here. I'm using newsprint. Okay, newsprint has a tooth. So the charcoal goes into the tooth and then makes it pretty hard to remove when you use it like this. Okay, you can still remove some, but you have to be very patient. Squint your eyes, see how much you're removing. Like for instance here, I want to remove more. And as you can see, it is getting a little bit brighter or lighter in value in comparison to this area. Okay, like so. Okay, so the same thing we're going to do with the tissue. And here we're going to have a big splash here. Let's say there's some rocks here and then we have some water splashing. Okay, remember this is the sea, and we see all kinds of little highlights because it's a little bit of rough sea, so we're going to leave it as that. Now that we've done this, I'm going to go back to the vine charcoal again, and here what I'm going to do, I'm just going to create the illusion that there is maybe we have some little islands at the distance. We can see a little bit of a vegetation. Okay, there. Yeah, indications of this and that. Same thing here. We're going to start creating lines like water moves around. So we're going to see this, and let's see if we can create a little bit of a beach. There you go. Okay, And here, since we have this splash, we're going to just draw some stones. Let's say there's some rocks in here. There's a Honeymoon Island, it's very close to us. I go there a lot. And they have this rock kind of like retaining walls a little bit. And that's a lot of splashing when the sea is a little bit active. So I'm just trying to recreate that. We're going to darken it a little bit more in the horizon. That way our splash is going to look even brighter. Okay, so we have those two scenes. Now, once we have done this, it's very little more than we can do with the tissue to lift more charcoal. Let me show you. We can still get a little bit brighter, but for the most part, I think we're kind of like done with this. Okay. I need a kind of like a pointy straight edge here, just to go above some of this water, just to show a little bit of movement. And here, let's see if we can lift any more with this stump. Remember, I'm just cleaning on the tissue and sanding it. So see, there we go. There. Okay. So what we're going to do now, we're going to use our kneaded eraser. And you remember, for this to work, has to be warm. We have to stretch it out a few times until it becomes kind of like chewing gum. There we go. That means it's clean and it's warm enough. This eraser, the warmer it is, the better it performs. So now I'm just going to create a tip, like you can see. And with this, I'm just going to start creating the bright spots on the waves that are coming ashore. Okay, just take your time, be patient, just think about where you might want these waves to be. Okay, maybe in here the sand is going to be, we can use our finger carefully if they're clean. That's where the sand is at. And here maybe we're going to have some clouds. Again, I'm reshaping the tool. Always try to get a cleaner tip when you're trying to lift more charcoal. So we can start creating the illusion of clouds at the distance. Okay. Yes, whispering clouds. There. And here we're going to do the same thing. I'm going to stretch it out a little bit, get a nice and clean point, and we're going to start lifting more of this water. See if we can get it a little bit brighter. You see how you can see this, maybe that's where the sunlight is reflecting this big splash that the water is making here by these stones, these rocks. You can see it's a lot brighter than it was. And of course here also in the water, the waves, a little bit of highlights. The highlights always go around, right above the dark lines, you see, just to make it more believable. Okay, and here also we can create some clouds, maybe a little bit, the brighter clouds are a little bit higher in the horizon, in the sky. There. could get our stump. Let's see if we can, the shadow side under the clouds always kind of like flat. And little by little we're creating this illusion of clouds. Now, if it's not enough contrast, what you can do, you can go back to your charcoal and add another layer of it. You know I like to work in layers, and here we're adding more. This is going to be the sky, and some below here where the clouds, the bottom of the clouds are. There we go, a little bit more under the water. So that's good. And we're going to go back. Maybe you can use just a stump to see how we can just blend it a little bit to create just a nice bottom of the clouds. Now the sky on top, blend it a little bit more. There we go. And we're going to have another round of with the needle eraser just to make the clouds a little bit brighter, and of course our main subject, the biggest splash that is getting a lot of sunlight. So very quickly, as you can see, we have made a nice beach scene, and we can notice the difference between using tissue and stump. The tissue is a lot lighter in the sky than it is with the stump. The stump tends to make a little bit darker. So there you go, you have a nice beach scene, very fast done, and you'll see the differences. Now, one little more exercise we'll do here, pretty much the same thing. I'm going to start adding, and this time we're going to use 3 tools. There we go. Right. And if you go a few lines like this, since we're doing the water, it's going to be okay. Because all of this is going to add texture, is going to add to the illusion of, oh, there's water move, it's not still water, okay? Maybe just little waves that come to the shoreline. Okay, this time I'm going to use my finger to blend this. So, light touch. There. I can go and create my horizon line a little more defined if I want to, like that. And here, what I'm going to do, we're going to just create the illusion of this wave just coming down like this, you see, with the needle eraser. There we go. Maybe we have more. Of course, we have one big wave. We're going to have little wavelets, right? And here, the one that comes to the edge of the... I hope you enjoyed the exercise. Maybe we'll get a little sailboat at the distance. Look how easy we can add that. And now you know what you can do with the stump, the tissue, the needle eraser, and of course my finger. Now it's time for you to practice.